In this video, we're going to look at assignment 5.5. I'm just going to give you a couple quick hints, quick reminders from our notes to kind of help you get going. I'm going to look at 4 problems with you. We'll look at A, E, F, and G. So let's start with A. So if we look at our notes, we'll see that our first step was to do any kind of keep, change. And when we look at this, is there any subtraction to worry about? There's not, so we're good to go. Now we want to identify our like terms and then combine the ones that are alike. So a term that has a letter in it with a coefficient, that's different than a term without a letter. So I'm going to look for all my terms with x's. Both these terms have x's. And are there any terms without an x? No. So we can just combine these terms, and by combining, we will use our same or different, add or subtract kind of rules. So when I have 8 and 13, these have the same sign. So we'll add them, and I get 21. We bring down the x with it. And then positive or negative, keep the sign of the larger number, and we get 21x. So letter A is 21x, which is down here at throw. So for letter A, we'll put the word throw. Okay, so that's how that part works. I'm not going to do how to get the words in there anymore. Just showed you one of those, but I do want to show you how the math works. Okay, so after A, we'll look at letter E. Okay, first step, we want to do our keep, change to every single, wherever there's subtraction. So we change, subtraction changes in the term after the subtraction sign changes. So we'll keep this the same. Subtraction becomes addition. Then we'll have a negative 4x. Subtraction becomes addition, change, negative 2, and then plus 11x. So next what we'll do is we'll identify all our like terms, and then we will combine them. So let's identify our like terms. I have 6x, that's a term. Are there any other terms with the letter x? Let's move down. Negative 4x, those are alike, and then an 11x, so those are alike. And then I'll look for my constants. Those are terms without any kind of variable, and I have just the negative 2, so I'll give that a circle in red. Okay, now let's combine our like terms. I'm just going to do 2 terms at a time. So I have 6x and negative 4x, so same or different. These are different, so we will subtract. So I get 2x, positive or negative. Keep the sign, where we have more positives, so keep the sign of the larger number, 6. So we have 2x. Then we'll bring down our plus negative 2 and our plus 11x. Now which ones are we going to combine? We'll combine the 2x and the 11x. So same or different? These are the same, so we'll add, and we'll get 13x plus, bring down that negative 2, like that. Okay, now what's weird about this one is we have 13x plus negative 2, but if we think of that idea as keep, change, it can go back and forth. So if I have plus and negative, that's the same as subtraction. So this is also equal to 13x minus 2. Just so how we could go back and forth. Like that. Okay, so let's look at letter F. We'll need a separate sheet of paper to look at F. So let me copy the problem first. 3/4 x plus 11 minus 5 1/2 plus 1/4 x. Okay, so there's our problem. 3/4 x plus 11 minus 5 1/2 plus 1/4 x. Okay. So let's go ahead and identify our like terms. I have my x's, 3/4 x, and plus 1/4 x. Oops, forgot to do our keep, change. My fault. 3/4 x plus 11 plus negative 5 and 1/2 plus 1/4 x. Now we're ready to identify our like terms. 3/4 x, 1/4 x, 11, no variable, so it's a constant, and negative 5 and 1/2, no variable, so it's a constant. Okay, let's combine our fractions. Now remember, we'll do some side work over here. When we're adding fractions, I have 3/4 x plus 1/4 x. So I have 3/4 plus 1/4. Now we need common denominators to add fractions. Do I have common denominators? I do. So I can add the numerators. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then my denominator, when we're adding or subtracting fractions, our denominator stays the same. And then we'll use our division, and we get that this is equal to 1. So we found that 4 divided by 4 is 1. So when we add 3/4 x to 1/4 x, we get 1x. We'd get 4/4 x, which is 1. So we'll use that as a 1x. Now we need to combine. So we'll bring down our plus sign. Now let's combine 11 and 5.5. So let's go down here, do our side work. 11 plus a negative 5 and 1/2. So we have 11 plus negative 5 and 1/2. We'll need to turn everything into our improper fractions. So we'll have 11 over 1 plus multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. 11 over 2, negative 11. Now, to combine fractions, we have to have common denominators. So we can multiply this one by 2, top and bottom by 2. This will multiply by 1, top and bottom. And then we'll have a denominator of 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 11 is 22, plus negative 11 over 2. Now we're just combining our numerators. We know our denominator is going to stay the same. So let's combine our numerators. 22 plus negative 11. So that's different signs. Subtract. So we'll get 22 minus 11 is 11. And then we keep the sign of the larger number, so it'll be a positive 11/2. Now for the sake of this assignment, we have to turn this back into a mixed number. To do that, we'll do long division. Or how many times does 2 go into 11? Well, 2 goes into 11 5 times. And that would be 10, so we'd have a remainder of 1, and we keep the denominator. Okay, so then we can write our 5 and 1/2. And we have 1x, or x, plus 5 and 1/2. So we can say this is x plus 5 and 1/2. Now the one last one I want to look at together is G. That's box number, letter F. I want to look at G real quick. This one won't take nearly as long. The first thing we want to do is, now we see that we have to distribute before we can begin. So let's distribute, then combine like terms. So we'll distribute the 5 to x, so it's 5 times x is 5x. Bring down our plus sign. 5 times 8 is 40, and then plus 3. And now we're ready. So all we did was add that little distributing part into the beginning. And now we're ready to combine our like terms. So I'll look for like terms. Anything with an x. I'll stick with using the green box. Anything else with an x? Nope, there's not. So then I'll do my red circles for my constants. Numbers without letters. Those are constants. Now we'll combine our like terms. So we got our 5x. There's nothing to combine with the 5x, so it stays alone. Bring down our plus sign. And then we can combine 40 and 3. Same signs add. Keep the sign of the large number, so it stays positive 43. And this is our final answer, 5x plus 43. Okay, so that was just a quick tutorial and some help on 4 of the problems. Try to use these 4 as examples, for instance, on how you can combine your fractions, need common denominators, and how can we use the distributive property before getting started, such as letter G. So thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it can get you through the rest of this assignment.